everybody. Welcome to the Community Podcast. I'm Mike Arboit, and my guest today is Michael MacDonald from the MacDonald Method. He is a public speaking coach, and he's a member here at TFN as well. He's always coming to our events. We love him. He's a great guy. So welcome to the show, Michael.
Thanks, Mike. Good to be here.
Thank you for coming on. I mean, we've been trying to get this going for a while. I'm so happy that you're on today. And you also were on our Facilitator Brooks podcast as well. And
that was a great experience. That was fun.
A great interview too. She's great. But yeah, I'm super excited to have you on today. Obviously, you've told me bits and pieces of your story and everything, but what this podcast we like to do is to hear how you got to where you are now. So it's a huge question, and it's a big very broad, but tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Well, if I reflect on my life journey, when I graduated from university, I hadn't traveled anywhere. And I was wondering, what am I going to do? I'm a teacher. Where am I going to teach? And an opportunity came up to join CUSO and go to Nigeria, West Africa, where I taught mathematics there for 2 years under the auspices of CUSO. It was just an unbelievable experience. It just opened up the horizon to a whole big world out there. And I really appreciated living and working in a different culture. I got to learn a little bit more about other people and about myself. And then later, again, I joined CUSO and I went to the highlands of Papua New Guinea, where I taught mathematics and we helped build high school. And that was a very interesting experience, especially living in that sort of quasi-primitive culture. And then my life took a turn. I got into the hospitality industry where I was a server. And that's where I learned to really understand the needs of people and how do I make their experience an enjoyable one. And then I was a professional model and actor. I did that for a few years, which helped me with my confidence. And then I segued into real estate sales and management. And it was there that I started to realize that working with realtors and how to make them better salespeople. And I decided, I'm a good coach. I'd like to be a coach. So what I did is I took all my life experiences and work experience and created the MacDonald Method, Master Your Message. So it's a transformative method in working with people, changing their mindset, helping them to find their authentic voice and just show up and share your message. And here I am today.
That's crazy. I mean, like, you always hear those stories, like people that stay stagnant in one area, like tend to, I don't think they enjoy life as much in reality. I think when you can adapt and change and learn new things and realize that you can do these things as a career. I mean, it's happened to me here, like when it came to podcasting and video production and stuff that I may have not been like traditionally trained in, but I picked it up and learned about it and realized, no, like, this is fun. Why can't I do this? So like your story, it seems like a true entrepreneur really is where it's just like learning new things and trying these different industries that may have zero connection to one another.
Take a risk. You never know unless you try. And it's really asked the question, what's your passion? What do you truly want to do? And answer that question, then ask yourself, are you willing to do whatever it takes to get there? And if you answer yes to those questions, then take a risk and try it. Yeah. You'll never know. I mean, I'm growing up, get married, have 3 children, a house, a picket of fence, work for 25 years, get your golden watch and pension. That really wasn't what I was interested in. Yeah. So again, I think I'm really interested in hearing about people and what they're doing and why they're doing it.
How old were you when you went overseas?
I was 22.
22?
So it was my 20s.
Yeah.
So that was those were my traveling times. But then in the 90s, again, I was complacent and I wasn't enjoying what I was doing. So what I did is I sold my house. Hindsight, I should have rented it. And I went to Costa Rica where I bought a bed and breakfast. Oh, wow. I thought I'd be living the dream. Well, it didn't quite turn out the way I expected, but it was a good learning experience, to say the least.
How many years were you there?
I was there about just under 2 years.
Oh, wow!
It was fun, but it was an expensive business proposition, to put it that way.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, like, You said you got into the hospitality industry, so were you making the food?
Yeah, it was good. I'd pick you up at the airport to bring you back. I had a place with six bedrooms and their own separate bathrooms and a dining room. So I would cook you breakfast, and then you would go off and do your touring of Costa Rica, and then hopefully you come back and stay with me before you fly out of Costa Rica. It
Amazing.
was fun. I got to live in a different culture. I really enjoyed the Spanish culture, and also learning Spanish was a difficult challenge, but it was fun.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of Canadians are doing that now. You hear about
Yeah,
so many people moving down to different parts of South America and Mexico, and it's it's almost like they've gone there because there's so many other Canadians that go there that they don't have to learn the language. But I think
exactly.
part of the culture, you have to go down there and learn it. You have to become part of that culture as well if you really want to like see the like the real living
Oh,
style
exactly.
of those
There's
people.
two kinds of travelers. I mean, you could travel, stay a week here, enjoy it, then go spend another couple of weeks here. But when you actually live and work or just live and visit a country, you get to really know what's going on underneath. And I think that's the learning experience.
Oh yeah, 100%. Real estate. It's crazy times for real estate right now. Obviously, like in BC, you when you were doing real estate, was it predominantly in this area,
Actually, it was in the North Shore,
North
West
Shore?
Van, North Van, Vancouver.
Yeah,
That's
but it's still like the Lower Mainland, right?
Lower mainland, exactly.
But
Well, I say real estate sales was a good experience, but I prefer management. I think coming from my teaching background, that the common thread is communication and connection. So I really like to work with people in what it is to communicate with authority and connect with authenticity, and that's what I'm about, and that's what gives me the passion and the drive.
what years were this? Like what?
That was in the late '80s. I started real estate. Got out of it for a bit going to Costa Rica, and then got back in the 2000s. I got out of it in about 2013.
Yeah,
So that's when I started doing the MacDonald Method. And I'm also a teacher with Leaders of Tomorrow Academy. So I teach young kids after school programs in communication and the values of leadership. I'll tell you, working with 7, 8, and 9-year-old to 15-year-old kids is something else.
yeah,
They're brilliant. I
yeah,
mean, I grew up, I didn't have a voice. Children were to be seen and not heard.
yeah,
And so I came to believe I didn't have a voice. So I was quiet. But seeing these kids, especially when they realize that, oh, I can do this.
yeah.
I can speak. I can show up. That gives me joy.
I feel like kids are leaps like
Oh,
ahead of where we like each generation before them has been due to technology and everything. Like my kid's 7, and stuff that he knows and understands that like I could at 7 years old. There's no way I would. It was Power Rangers. That's my whole life. But now it's like he literally understands things that really he shouldn't. But it's great. It seems that like where you see the positives of technology and what it can do for a young mind. And yeah, I do feel like kids have a little bit more of a voice now. It's a different generation where they
exactly.
can speak up. They can tell you how they feel. There's more programs out there to understand children because I don't think the old method of like raising kids, I mean, half of it's not legal now, but also like yeah, it's just that parents are a little bit more, they accept that they're children. They're children, and they have these ideas. They still some of these kids are more brilliant than grown adults.
Oh, you learn from them.
Yeah,
They're teaching you lessons.
yeah,
That's the beauty of it.
yeah. So like public speaking, like when did you realize that you were so good at it?
Um, I always felt, I felt I was a good teacher. I was able to not just tell students what to do, but work with them, guide them to find the solutions. I thought that during that time, I wasn't thinking about public speaking, but I was always focused on communication. How can I be a better communicator? And that's listening and talking. And then it was. Oh, it's always been something that's interested me, and it wasn't until I got out of real estate, and I was asking myself, what do I really want to do? What's my passion? And that was to be a public speaker. And public speaking is not just standing on stage and giving a presentation. I mean, public speaking is whenever you talk to an audience anywhere at any time, and that is something that I've been learning about. I guess. just reflecting back on it, I like standing on stage. I like talking.
Mm,
I like conversing with people. There was a time when I was uncomfortable in connecting with people. Nowadays, I love connecting with people. I'm curious.
yeah,
I want to know more about you. So I've learned that asking questions is really the important part of communication, and then sitting back and be an empathetic listener.
yeah.
So I'm not sure to answer your question. I just think it's fun.
It is fun.
It's
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. It's nerve wracking for a lot of people, and I mean, like, for us, like, we deal with different business owners as a co-working space, and like those business owners are so different from one another, and some are like extroverts times a million,
Right.
and they can be that spokesperson for what they're promoting. And then you have very introverted people that are brilliant, that it's so nerve wracking to them, and they feel like they'll never get to that point. But with people like you, they can get to that point of being at least comfortable talking
Exactly.
about what they're trying to promote, their business, themselves, their story. Because the more successful you become as an entrepreneur or business owner, you have more people reaching out for things like this, like talking on podcasts. And you'd be amazed how many of these highly successful business owners that I've interviewed have never done it before. And they're before the podcast, they're like telling me how nervous they are. And it's a lot of people that this is just not a natural thing.
It's a scary situation.
Yeah.
Very much so. Very
Yeah.
much so.
It's, I mean, for me, can tell you right now, it was hard for me to get into it. So, like, who is most of your clientele? Is it business owners? Is it people?
It's students,
Yeah.
people that are preparing for speeches, TEDx. They're busy entrepreneurs, CEOs, people that want to create a PowerPoint presentation for their business. I think what it's fine is anybody that really wants to find their authentic voice, show up with confidence, share their message with clarity, and leave a lasting impression. And even if you're an introvert and you're shy and don't want to speak, well, I look at it, your whole life you've been practicing being shy.
Yeah.
So you're very good at it, and that's okay. So now what we want to do is how do we practice to be more confident as a speaker? And what it is basically is changing your mindset, your beliefs about who you are, and basically taking a risk. Be willing to break through that fear factor to the other side and just step into your power. Then what you can do is reflect on that and ask yourself, what was that like? What did I not like? How can I improve it? And then just do it again and just keep doing it. So really it's just practicing. Practice makes progress.
Mm.
And it takes time. You just have to be willing to try something, get some constructive feedback, and just do it again.
Yeah, because I've seen some like people that I've known for years that go from that complete introvert to something else, like that. Wouldn't seem like it's them. Sometimes it's done by themselves, but most of the time it is done through help with coaches. And there's a lot of people that are coaches nowadays. Like they say they can be, and there's a lot of people that don't I don't think aren't as good as they say they are. I After being around you and being like I know I'm very confident in your skills of being that. Um, how is that like? There's a lot of competition. I feel like a lot of people got into like coaching. Like,
Competition is good. I think for myself, I look at it and it's about the relationship with the person you're working with. And the whole idea is there a connection that we're willing to work together and create a safe environment where you feel comfortable to take that risk, to make a mistakes. A lot of times we fear making mistakes, and we make mistakes, we beat ourselves up. Oh, I'm not good enough. And you just have to be willing to make a mistake and learn from it and move on.
yeah,
For instance, I'm an introvert who does extroverted things.
yeah,
So I can go out and I can just be out there and just being excited and do things. And then I'm very comfortable in coming back home and just being in the sanctum of my house and feel comfortable with it.
yeah,
So I think what it is the relationship.
yeah.
I think it's creating that comfort level that sure we can work together.
Yeah,
Um,
it's funny you say like I'm very much similar like you. Wrestling,
right,
like people when they come to one of my wrestling shows and they see my wrestling character and how flamboyant and outrageous and loud and just like a they're like, how is that you? People that have known me for years are like, no, that we know Mike. We if I know the person, I could be a totally different person than if I just met you the first time.
right.
And they don't understand how it is, and then they come to that show, and then they like our relationship, once they see me wrestle, has already instantaneously changed. It changed now because they're like, I've seen that side of you. I know you're not just this quiet guy who kind of hides in the corner of the office and does his work. Um, so like I know where you're coming from, where it just takes almost like a switch to where, depending on the situation you're in. It took me a long time to have that. Even like I've been doing wrestling for over 20 years, and when I was younger, it was like I wasn't so concentrated on the crowd around me because I was so tunnel vision because I was nervous. And then I realized over time, no, it's the connection with these people that's going to make this whole lot easier if I can connect with them on a fun level where they're enjoying what I'm doing, and I can act like a complete imbecile in there, but
Exactly.
it's not like it's not the real, it's not like just me. It's a character I'm playing, but it's something they can play along with. And when I realized that they paid to come to the show, they're expecting you to be a character, be outrageous, and be a professional wrestler. Then it made me a lot easier to be like, okay, this is Mike, this is my wrestling
Mhm.
character, Dance Daddy, totally different people, but the people that really get to know me can see how that works. And if I was like crazy all the time, it'd be a little bit too much. So that like laid back family guy goes home, would rather be at home, like not doing much than going out all the time. It surprises people when that don't know me, but when they get to know me, it doesn't surprise them
You
anymore.
have awareness of who you are.
Yeah,
And I think that's what's important to most people. I mean, I'm growing up. I had this facade, how I was supposed to talk, how was I supposed to look, and I just wasn't really comfortable with that. I wasn't being my real self, and I really found that to be a challenge. So what it is, one day I just take down that facade and just be who I am. With all I say, embrace your weirdness.
yeah,
Just be who you are, because we're not all the same. You don't want to be, just copy somebody. So really, it's finding your authentic truth and just be that. And I think that's important for all of us. Just be who you are and
yeah,
be comfortable with it. I have my quote is, "What you think of me is none of my business."
yeah,
It's what I think of myself. And I think for most people, if you can embrace your authentic self and just show up and share that, that's where the power is. And it's just being aware of who you are and just be it
yeah.
with all your weird idiosyncrasy and quirks.
I think we're at a
Uh,
good time in I'll say civilization for that. Like 'cause I know you're talking about the whole like three kids picket fence life that was promoted heavily, and
yeah,
I still like my parents' generation, which I think you're part of the same
right.
generation.
Yeah.
They that was what they were promoted, and like it's still my parents think that way. They're very like, well, we need to get a union job, we need to be protected, we need to like the typical middle class family that was so accepted. For one, that's not even you're not available. It's not available to this generation. The middle class family, like nobody can afford to have a three kids in a house right now in their 20s and 30s. It's just not happening. That's partially why, but it's just yeah, it's crazy. Like breaking the mold is kind of natural now, which is very. I think it's guys like you that have kind of broken that mold of past generations that were like, this is how you live life. You do your job, you retire. I don't know if it has partially to do with like people don't think they're going to be able to retire anymore. That it's just like I'm going to do what I like now. I'm going to try to do at least something that I'm passionate about, and I'm not going to just like work that job I hate. Like I don't understand that ideology of oh, I'm going to live the last quarter of my life well because I lived the first 75% hating it. Like
No
that doesn't make
guarantee.
any sense at all. And I think that it's finally broken that mold. It's finally gotten to that point.
Well, this is your life. This is
Yeah,
your journey. How do you want to live it? And I always look, life is a journey. Buckle up, hold on, and enjoy the ride.
yeah,
And then you could look back and reflect on it. But yes, exactly. I mean, am I happy in what I'm doing?
yeah,
And if I'm not happy, well, then take a look at that. But again, it's will can I take the risk? And what does that look like? But are you willing to take a look at it?
yeah,
And are you willing to do something about it? That's the choice.
yeah.
And that's a tough one for most people,
It's a very
you
tough one,
know?
and it's like it's that whole like, what if I regret spending this money on
Oh,
building this business? It's like, what if regret? It's like I think when anybody's at their last their last blink, they're always going to be some sort of regret. What's the worst kind of regret?
Wish I
And I think the
had
worst
that.
kind of regret is like, why didn't I do this with my life and try to do this that I loved and love? I think that's worse than I tried what I loved. I lost a bunch of money. It sucked, but it was an adventure and
Oh,
I
yeah.
tried. And I think that is where people are really got to start looking at it more as like yeah, it's very frightening trying something new or something you're passionate about or going out on your own or starting a business. But I think it's scarier just putting your head down and working at something you have no passion on. And I also think it's hard for business owners now too, because like knowing that your staff isn't really passionate about what you're trying to promote, you're not going to get the best out of those people ever. When you're going to get the best work out of people is when they love what they do. So like in reality, people need to look for those things that they love what they do. Maybe they do it by themselves. Maybe they find a team of people that love the exact same as you do. And that's, I think, like I think we're trying to get to, and it's still going to take time where people are going to be doing those jobs that they can't stand just because of security, comfort in finances. But I honestly think it's almost the financial craziness of the world right now is kind of a benefit for that. Like where it's
Mm,
just like
mm.
you almost think like I'm going to be broke here. I'm going to be broke here. What's the better kind of broke? My mental health. Like maybe I'm broken either way, but my mental health will be better if I'm doing something I love. And I think mental health is finally
I
in the
think so.
forefront
I
for a
think
bunch of
so.
people, right?
But it was like you're saying with the business owner and working with your employees. A lot of times leaders think they want people to think highly of themselves. Well, the role as a leader is to get your employees to think highly of themselves. So you want to create that environment and work with the employees so that they feel that they're part of it. And I think that's the cohesiveness of working with your team. And I think that's really important
Yeah.
that CEOs take a look at that.
That's the
You
difference
know.
between like the successful business owners and just business
Right.
owners. I think that like I watch a lot of Gary Vaynerchuk.
No.
Okay, he's multiple business owner entrepreneur in the states, but he's a coach as well. But he just says like you gotta try everything. You gotta put stuff out there. You always gotta like just do you. And as a owner of a business, you have to like you can't just be like I hired you. You do work for me, ghost them, do whatever, treat them like garbage. You have to be the leader that like if that person doesn't show up that day for any reason, just because you're owner doesn't mean that the work doesn't get done. Sometimes you as the owner have
You
to
got to
get back
step
and do the
in.
dirty
Yep.
work. And
Yep.
that's like the real business owners that succeed are the ones that realize like it's not like this is my department. It's like no, the team needs to come together, work together. If one part is in a lull or people are sick or people leave the job, that owner needs to be able to step into that role if they can, like if they have the time. But in reality, I think that's the difference between a successful business owner and a person who just has money that wants to have their
Mm,
own business.
mm.
And like I said, I just think we're at a different time now where it's like you can't treat your employees like garbage anymore. You can't. They'll leave, or you'll like. There's more protection around employments and employees that like you can't be that boss anymore. You have to be a representative of your company and be a positive influence on those
Oh,
people working
definitely,
around you.
definitely. There's a difference between a boss and a leader.
100%. And
Exactly.
I mean, I just wish that message would get across to a lot of different people
You learn
because
the hard way.
yeah,
Sometimes we learn the hard way. What's the lesson there?
yeah.
Exactly.
So when it comes to like when you're talking to young people and you're coaching them, not just even on public speaking, like I think it all turns into like broader like life aspect when you're probably talking to them. How many of them are you talking about like doing things that are different, not to the traditional?
Oh, it's getting. I like. It's being honest. I really like getting in a conversation with people to be honest, especially with young students. Like, they have the con. I really like to. I like to be an artist. But an artist is just a hobby. I need to be a doctor or an engineer. So I think for myself is okay. I'm talking to you. Your mom and dad aren't here. So let's have a conversation. And I think what it is, if someone can be open and honest in the conversation, that's where the power is. I think is to be able to feel comfortable in having that conversation. I'm curious. I like to maneuver around. I like to know what's going on. How come you didn't do this? What's going on with you? How are you feeling? What's the future look like for you? What's getting in the way? So I think it's just having that dialogue with them, because I think a lot of times is we're afraid to show up and share our message. I'm afraid I'm going to be judged. I'm afraid I'm going to be criticized. I'm afraid I'm not going to be good enough.
Mhm.
And I think if we can get beyond that and just be honest in our conversation, because then when you bring it to the light, oh, then you can see it better. And I think that's for me is that's what I like to do, is getting into conversations with people
Yeah.
and really hearing what's going on, what's getting in the way, what's your fear, what's your mindset. A lot of times in coaching is the mindset. We have this belief that I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
I'm not capable. So that's the mindset you have. It's in your subconscious. So whenever something comes up, I need to do this, that belief comes, I'm not good enough. That creates an emotional charge. So it creates a negative reaction. So what we want to do is change that mindset in that I am good enough.
Yeah.
I am capable and I am deserving.
Yeah.
And I'm going to segue into that, which is I do a lot with the imposter syndrome. And the imposter syndrome is that deeply rooted psychological phenomena that we deal in silence. And what it is, it's that inner critic that's challenging your sense of belonging and your achievements. So no matter how good you think you are, you get this voice in here that's just sabotaging you. It's that self-doubt.
Yeah.
So what we want to do is look with that and change your mindset.
Yeah.
And the way to do that is to reflect, change, focus from your failures to your successes.
Yeah.
And what I like to do is write down all your successes, big and small. I don't care what it is. And then also write down all your praises. Oh, I like how I look. I feel good. I dress well. And what people say. And then as you're reading it, how do you feel? Oh, I am successful. I feel good. I
Mhm.
feel confident. So there's your mindset. So you have that in there. So you change that. And then another one is with people is to more compassion and self-compassion and mindfulness. I mean, I was always, oh, Michael, you made a mistake. Michael, you made a mistake. You're not good enough. Is be more gentler on yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important for people, is that it's okay to make mistakes.
Yeah.
It's okay to be what you are. And the other one is just share, communicate, connect, share your fears. What's going on?
Mm.
To be able to talk with somebody and say, hey, this is what's happening. This is what I think, and get into that conversation,
Yeah.
because self-doubt's always there.
Oh, 100%.
And what it is don't push it away. The self-doubt, I look at it's like the critic that's there, hey, Michael, you're not really good at this, and if you do it, you're going to fail. So maybe it's best just not to do it.
Yeah.
Well, if I believe it, I'm just going to stay stuck. So you just have that conversation with that imposter syndrome and
Well,
move on.
imposter syndrome. I think I've read on it quite a bit as we were starting a business and like how you feel. But I've read a lot of stuff about how if you use imposter syndrome as a positive, and it actually makes sense for entrepreneurs to always have it, because a true entrepreneur is always growing and learning.
Looking.
That if you're learning something new, you're most likely going to have imposter syndrome because you weren't there before. So you always feel like, even if you're trying to talk about that topic, talk to people on a subject that you might be new to, you always have that imposter syndrome. But if you use it as like a driving force of like continuously wanting that imposter syndrome, like because you're growing to the next step of learning something new, it's a positive. It's
Let's
actually,
coexist.
yeah,
Coexist together. Don't fight it.
100%.
Just work with it.
And work with it and realize, no, that's a good thing for if you feel that way, because you're growing. And that's if you feel like, oh, I'm 100% great at what I do, I'm not an imposter, I'm like the best at what I do, and you just stay stagnant. For
Exactly.
one, I don't think you're gonna get bored and you're not gonna have the challenge anymore. But like the challenge of being an imposter in something is something that I think most people should try to live through.
Yep.
Trying something different. I mean, like, I think one of the things they've indoctrinated into kids' heads, I know it was my generation, it's like in high school, it's grade 9, and they're like, you got to figure out what you're going to do in life by the time you're 17 and get out of high school. You got to figure that out. It's like, absolutely not. That kid should take the few years out of, in my opinion, take a few years to not go to school, figure out what they really are passionate about. Maybe they just get a regular job, or they travel, or they do all these different things and realize, oh, you can start a new career at 35, 40, 45, 50 years old. You can start anytime you want. You really can. And I'm not going to. University and college is something that's great for many
Yeah,
people. It's not for everyone. And in today's times, there's certain positions that can be self-taught. In my opinion, a lot of stuff you can
exactly.
learn online. If it's not like health or like stuff you really need schooling for, these kids need to stop stress. Like, or like the school system really needs to stop stressing these kids out to make them think like you need to know what you're going to do with your life. Because I'm almost 40 years old. I don't know what I want to do with my life. Why would these kids want to know this? And I think that's one of the reasons people get strapped and stuck is
Oh,
because my parents are like go to school, go to school. They go to school right outside of high school. They go to college, then they go into university. Then they're 28 years old and they hate what they just went to school for the last 10 years. Like it's not. It makes absolutely zero sense. So I think people need to take their time, realize that you can be. You could start like some of the most successful business owners in the history of this world started late in life
oh,
because
exactly.
they were sick of what they were doing.
Exactly. It's giving yourself permission to do it.
Yeah.
It's that pressure that saying growing up, this is what you need to do. This is how you do it. This is how you're supposed to dress. And it's just what you do is you just have this barriers around there to protect you, and it's just a false illusion. But yeah, to give myself permission to okay, go for it, try it, see what happens, and learn from it. And like you said, it's the pressure that I think growing up. I mean, especially at a young age,
Yeah.
can be devastating for somebody.
It's happened to
You know?
like my closest friends. Like
Right.
majority of them that went to school, right? Like I went to school for music production. I was passionate about it. I learned that it's very hard to make money doing that. So I worked other jobs in
Right.
between, but I still did that. I still enjoyed doing it. I went to school. Like I realized like if I went to school for anything else that I was told to, like through my parents telling me, oh, you should do this or this, like people are like, oh, that pays well, but I'm like, I don't care how much I'm making if I hate the job. If I absolutely hate the job, I could care less if I'm living in a mansion. If I'm going to that mansion brain dead every day,
Yeah, be unhappy. Yeah.
I'd be unhappy. And so I appreciate like nowadays like parents are getting a little bit more acceptable. Schools I think are realizing kids don't learn the same. They don't function the same. There could be huge differences between one 17-year-old and another 17-year-old in maturity. Um, like we talk about kids being brilliant. There's some kids that could be 11 and more brilliant than that 17 year
Oh,
old. So it's just
exactly.
like let these people grow in their own ways and learn their own ways. I think we've realized that the traditional school method it doesn't work for a huge amount of kids, and I think that's where a lot of these different psychological I wouldn't even call them disorders, but just like where all these like with the ADHDs, all these things. I don't even think that wasn't even the problem for these people in schools. It was the fact that like they were being taught a way that just does not work for their
Oh,
brain. It doesn't. And I can tell you right now, like I've seen some of my most highly successful friends were ones that were like C minus students, and the ones that were straight A students, they're the ones that are just
well, I was
choked. Work.
joking was, you had the university, when I was in high school, you had the university graduates who go to university and get their PhDs. Then you had the shop kids that would take trade skills. So what happened was they became very successful owning electric companies or plumbing companies. And then you had the PhD graduates still looking for work.
Yeah,
So it was like, that was the way it was then. And
yeah.
like you're saying, it's nowadays, it's totally different.
Yeah, it's 100% different. I mean, it's crazy, but I think we're on as crazy as the world is right now. I think we're on the right track of like just taking people's like passions and making them use them and do them. And uh, I think a lot of like even podcasting, people have an outlet of
Oh, find it,
talking.
find it.
They're if like let's say a guy works a job he doesn't like, but he can take this time and do this and talk about hockey for half an hour every week. It kind of letting people like have an outlet to do what they want
That's
to
the
do.
find an outlet. If you are, this is the work you're doing, and that's where you are. Okay,
Yeah,
that's fine. But find an outlet where you can express yourself and have the passion. Be what that whatever that may be. But I look at it, how long I'm here, I don't know.
yeah,
What's the quality of my life? What's my legacy? What do I want to leave? And first of all, I want to be experience life to the fullest, enjoy it and learn. And for me, it is help, be a service.
yeah.
How can I help you? What do you need? Who are you? Where do you want to go? How do you want to get there? And for me, it's about being a service. So that's my passion. But to find it because I think it's the regrets and disappointments can be big.
Yeah.
I've let go of my regrets and disappointments because I may have not done what I was supposed to do, but I did what my passion was. I look back on it and I'm grateful for what I did. I'm here today. I'm still thinking, okay, what's my next chapter?
Yeah.
It's not
I mean,
finished
it
yet.
keeps going, it keeps
It
going, and
keeps
it just
going.
takes one opportunity and something happens and you're like, "Oh, this sounds fun." And that's really where I see myself, like, working on different projects and stuff and meeting different coworkers and stuff and, like, realizing we could work together on stuff, collaborate, and have the same passions, and that's why these kinds of spaces, like, I don't really wanna tout my own business too much, but it's just, like, bringing all these people that have
Right.
the drive to be entrepreneurs and start their own businesses that have other ideas, and they meet these other people that their ideas mesh with, and it just creates this, like, community of collaboration on businesses you might not think would ever like collaborate, but it happens because I think the mindset of these people are very similar, just they've concentrated on different passions. I mean, some people will just start businesses because they know they're money makers and then they can use that money they're making to do their passions. But a lot of people that have taken those passions and made it into their business, like, they're the happiest people, even if they're stressed financially. They're the happiest people mentally, I think, than most, even if they're going through some struggles. I think it's always nice going home knowing that you're doing your thing.
Well, listening to you talk, you're very animated, you're very passionate
Yeah,
about it, you're smiling, you're excited. I mean, you light up.
yeah,
And when you're in the presence of other people and this is who you are and comes across, that's powerful. And there's that connection.
yeah,
And I'm, sitting here listening to you share what's going on, and it's like, wow, you can feel it. So what it does, it gives me permission to also show up and share from my place of passion.
yeah. That's awesome.
So that's the beauty of it.
Yeah,
And I think that's really important.
it's very important. I could talk to you forever. I feel like I could talk to you forever. We try to limit the podcast to about a half hour. Sometimes it goes over, sometimes a bit under, but I could talk to you forever. But I really want people to visit your website and find you on socials, get in contact with you because I believe in what you do. I believe, like, your stories is great. I just like seeing such a vast difference of what you've done.
Right.
It's that those people are the ones that have learned the most in life and kind of live life, like, really lived, right? And so I want people to go to your website, learn more about you. You can only learn so much in a half an hour podcast, but tell us where they can find you.
Well, you can go to michaelmacdonald.ca, and MacDonald's MacDonald, so michaelmacdonald.ca. That's my website. I'm also on LinkedIn. I'm also in Instagram. And so I think go to the website, take a look, and then let's connect. And what we usually do is just have a conversation by the phone, and then what we'll do is set up a either one-on-one coffee together or by Zoom, and just to get to know each other a little better, see if there's an opportunity that we can work together, and then take a look at your wants and needs and tailor a program that fits you, and we'll go from there. I'm also just want to add a little plug here. I'm in the process of finishing my book. It's called The MacDonald Method: Master Your Message, your guide to communicate with authority and connection with authenticity. So I'm really excited about getting that done. And I think what it is really we all find a coach. We all need a coach. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're a great tennis player, you have a coach.
Yeah,
And I think with a lot of people, if I want to be a better speaker, invest in yourself and find a coach to help you become a better communicator. Because I really think life is about communication and connection,
mm,
and that's where it's at. But first of all, let's meet. Let's see if we can work together
yeah.
and just go from there.
Yeah, I think a coach is always necessary because I feel like you never, there's no perfect. There is no
Oh,
perfect. Really, you can grow and you could, even if you're the best public speaker ever, doing TEDx talks, you could still get better. There's no
oh,
doubt in my mind. The whole practice makes perfect. Like you said, practice makes progress.
progress, yeah.
Way better saying because, like, I honestly think perfection is not something you can actually get to. And that's a good thing. That's a very good thing, because if you can grow, I mean,
Yeah, I'm still learning and growing.
yeah,
And the beauty of it, it's a two-way street. I learn from you just as much as you learn from me, and that's the beauty of it.
yeah,
It's a two-way connection here. It's not just one way.
yeah,
And so yeah, it's fun. It's great.
yeah.
Feels good.
It does. Well, thank you so much, Michael, for being on the show today. I appreciate it.
Uh,
Again, I could talk to you even more and more. I know you've done a Lincoln Learn here before too,
I've
right?
done a legal. Yeah, I want to say, I'm really glad to be a member of the Fountain Network.
Uh,
I think it's a great collaboration of people getting together and connecting, and especially when you have networking functions and you meet other like-minded entrepreneurs, you never know where that can lead. And I
no,
think I really like what you're doing here. I think it has great value, and
appreciate
so I
that.
thank you for that.
Well, thank you for being a part of it. Thank you for coming to our events too. Just trying to grow them and continue to
Hmm.
do more
Hmm.
ideas to do it in more cities and grow from that. So like, I think community is the base around it all. Is to find the people that are within that community that are doing similar or different things than you, and just meeting them and chatting and just hearing success stories, and
Exactly.
also getting the tidbits of what doesn't work. And like, it might not work for some people, it could work for you, but just hearing those stories, knowing that people are going through a lot of the same stuff as business owners, as entrepreneurs, it's just people as you are, but in different wavelengths. It doesn't matter. Like that's we learned that through COVID and everything, meeting all these people, like seeing all the things all these people were going
Oh,
through,
exactly.
but then realizing we're all in this together.
We're in
Like,
together. It's a reflection,
yeah,
we learn from each other,
yeah.
and that's the power.
That's the whole thing with us as community, is what's made everything. And so that's whether it be Fountainhead with the co-working events, community-based, networking events, community-based. Everything is about the community around you, and that's a business. Any business, if you can build a community around your business, that's it's going to make you succeed, right? Well, thanks, Michael, and
Thank you.
thank you all for watching or listening today. You can find our podcast on Spotify or YouTube, where you're probably watching or listening now. Make sure to subscribe to our channel, like all of our podcasts, listen to other podcasts. I hope you enjoyed the show today. Again, to learn more about Michael MacDonald and the MacDonald Method is michaelmacdonald.ca, right? Go there. Michael's a great dude, a great man, a great story. I love talking to him, and I appreciate him coming on today, and I appreciate you listening today. So thank you. Have a good one.